Um,
His name is Tony
I
Zillion.
I would argue that all of you are able members of the Earth Law movement. And the objective of this course is to engage you, to energize the movement, and to bring us together to advance this transition into a new ecozoic era. Our Earth Law education team is a part of the Earth Law Alliance. Um, the Earth Law Alliance is a network of like-minded, like-hearted people. Our principal objective through this Earth Law education is to engage in the law in which you engage with the law. You don't have to be a lawyer. We all know how the law is central to the way we interact. Etiquette is law, courtesy is law. But we want to take you into the law that we believe is emerging to transform current environmental law into a healing structure that we all participate in. I'd like the team to introduce ourselves. We've got just 1 minute short introductions. Following that, we'll go around with the team again and explain why it is we're committing our time, our energies to offering this course. And we'll also explain some examples of Earth Law in practice. So let me introduce the team first. Carrie Hudson, Tara Pierce, Kat Haas, and Janet Marley. And I'll turn it over to you first, Carrie, to share a brief introduction.
Thanks, Tony. Thanks. Hello, everybody. My name is Kerry Hudson. I'm a lawyer. I'm based in North Carolina and London. Uh, right now, I'm in North Carolina. Wednesday morning, I'll be in London. Rather than talk about myself for the next 42 seconds, I just want to tell you one of the really compelling things to me about this topic, which is that it's so expansive. It involves so many things, and it's not this static body of knowledge that the people facilitating the course know and are going to impart to the people who attend. It's nowhere near that simple. It's more beautiful. Um, and in fact, it even involves a lot of contradictory things. So there's debates and frictions about what's going on. And so, we've got ancient wisdom, we've got progressive. So it's really a fabulous point. And the point I think of this course will be more about a dialogue, a process that we all engage in. And in that sense, everybody has something to offer. So I'm really looking forward to this. And I hope you all join us.
Kat, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Kat. I am originally from North Carolina, still kind of based there, as well as in Mexico and Europe. So I'm kind of all over, but I'm currently in Europe at the moment. I am the director of the Eco Jurisprudence Monitor, which is a research initiative that is globally focused, and we track every rights of nature and ecocentric earth law that is happening all over the world. So we've been doing this for a few years now. And what is exciting to me and gets me really inspired and feeling hopeful is watching the growth every day, every month, every year. It's an exponential graph of all of these initiatives, laws, constitutions, court cases, and civil society engagements happening around rights of nature. And the way it's growing really inspires me, fills me with hope when it feels like hope is lost sometimes. So I'm hoping that you feel the similar inspiration. And we're going to talk about all of the cases and things that happen in this course. And I encourage you, if you're interested, to check out the monitor and you can learn a little bit for yourself. And it'll be a good intro to what we're going to be doing in this course.
Thank you, Kat. Tara?
Hi. Um, so I am also struggling to explain where I'm based. I am originally from California, but I'm also German and I'm currently in the Canary Islands. If you can't tell, I live on a sailboat, so I'm very mobile. But I, the sailboat gives you a clue that I'm kind of ocean obsessed. So I'm really excited to teach the ocean session of the course, and it will cover the whole globe as the ocean does. There's really amazing developments happening right now. Various indigenous groups across the South Pacific are recognizing the personhood of whales. There was legislation in Panama that's expanded to three other nations nearby, which is essentially spreading protections for sea turtles. And yeah, I mean, the ocean has always been like a playground for law to try new innovative things. And so not only is it gorgeous and fun and critical to the global climate, it has really cool legal things happening. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with everybody and hearing what you all think and what you come up with.
Thanks, Tara. And let me share that Tara took the first Earth Law course that I had the privilege of teaching, and we've been working together the last 5 years. And I can say the same, though for not as long, with about Carrie and many others. I can attest to the value of this course as building the movement. It's successful so far. Janet, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Janet Marley. I'm also in multiple locations. I am currently in the unceded Ute territory of the Rocky Mountains, and heading to Vermont to the Abenaki lands, homelands soon. And I'm an eco-psychologist, so I'm not a lawyer. And I just want to say that you do not have to be a lawyer to make a really significant contribution to this field of earth law and to gain a lot from this course. I'm an eco-psychologist, so I lead practices and work with people in nature connection practices and deep connection with the natural world on a personal level. And I also teach animism literacy, so how to directly communicate with the natural world, which has a lot of implications for Earth law and the way that it's playing out in various forms, rights of nature, and just different kinds of representation of the natural world. So if you're in the course, we'll get to do some optional experiences in this field of eco-psychology. And I would hope that some new emergent ways of integrating these direct experiences into Earth law and Earth law practice might, emerge from your own experience that might actually, contribute to the way that this is playing out in the field. So welcome, everyone.
Thanks, Janet. Let me start our next kind of round from our faculty here is just some examples that we find inspiring. And let me start by talking about three things that I'm currently involved in. I love teaching Earth Law. I am proud to say that hundreds and maybe 1,000 students that I've come in contact with over the years is become my life's blood. I love to teach. That is practicing Earth Law. In a more technical legal way, I'm representing the Connecticut River in a matter involving relicensing a power plant. And you might know when power plants need licenses, there's public comments. And my Earth Law practice law firm offered comments, and we have immediately found ourselves in a place that is not surprising. Not only our opponents, the power plant company, but even the Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, which of course is charged with the responsibility of protecting the environment, says, you don't belong here. The river doesn't have standing. Standing is a technical legal issue that is so convoluted in the United States that I will tell you there's no way we will win. Rivers don't get standing. Courts and administrative processes and legislatures, they don't have any time to listen to what the river might have to say. And that's what I'm doing. And I'm also working with the government of South Korea. In the National Assembly is pending a bill that would give legal personhood, this is that standing issue, to the Indo-Pacific bottlenose dolphin. And the fact that it's reached the National Assembly level is a testament to this cultural attachment that the Haenyeo, literally it means women divers, who have been responsible for sustaining the food security of Jeju Island for many generations, 20, 30 generations. This deep cultural attachment between this community of human beings, the women divers, and this community of dolphins, which help them find the fish that they want to collect, that protect them from sharks, and that play with them in the water. This interspecies relationship is the reason that this bill has reached the National Assembly. And I've been engaged to help them develop a position of global leadership, of global influence in the development of eco-legal personhood. So there's a couple of examples of Earth law in action. I'll turn it over to you, Kat, to share a couple of inspiring stories.
It's so hard to choose. I think instead of talking about one single initiative, what really inspires me is in the past year and a half, really starting, I would say 2024 and this year too, the amazing coalescing that I've seen, because my work is to look at what's happening at the highest level. And there's this amazing community movement building happening in Europe. And the number of local town initiatives, like ordinances, motions by city councils happening in the Netherlands and the UK, community initiatives for the Venice Lagoon, for Lake Garda. I mean, it's just going crazy. And that inspires me so much because Europe was a little slower on the pickup, and now it's just taking off. And it really excites me to see this happen because it's completely citizen-led. And there's now a Rights of Nature network for the UK and one for the Netherlands and Germany and Switzerland. And I'm just feeling amazed at the momentum that's happened. It's something I really respect and admire. It shows the power of just normal citizens inspired and wanting to protect nature and reestablish a relationship with it. So not one thing, but a whole lot of things.
Thanks, Kat. Carrie, you have any Earth Law in Action stories to share?
Earth Law in Action. I do want to talk a little bit about that indirectly, in the sense that we talked a little bit about you don't have to be a lawyer. In fact, this will sound weird, but you don't have to be a lawyer to be an Earth lawyer. And there are going to be a lot of lawyers. There's probably a lot of lawyers in this Zoom call right now, but the law is far more fascinating than you would ever guess if you just went by how you were exposed to it in law school. And if we get out of that pedagogical academic sort of restrictions, it's incredible. It's amazing the things we're going to talk about and how it relates to everyday life in the world and our future. So there's so much going on, and there's so many little grassroots movements. That's one of our debates. Are we working from the grassroots up or legislatively down? And there aren't answers to these. This is more as much a class about asking the right questions and having it facilitate discussion than it is about here's the rules and here's what you need to know. So um, I did not answer your question, Tony, because I didn't talk about a specific thing, but I was looking more on the broader background of how things go. So
Thanks, Carrie. Janet?
Sure. What's inspiring me this week is a an example in Sweden. Who's a woman, I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, Pela Teal. And she is an ecologist, a renegade ecologist who started an eco-psychology year-long program in Sweden. And she works on ecocide, global ecocide law. And she has recognized that eco-psychology is the leverage point that she chooses to use to affect, sort of that ground up grassroots initiative, with the end result being a global change. So there's my.
Hey, thank you, Janet. And Pella is a global leader in the ecocide, Stop Ecocide movement. And I encourage everyone to check out the Stop Ecocide webpage and lend your support. So we've got an extraordinarily interesting opportunity here to put you all in some groups and to hear what you're all about, why you're interested in Earth law. We will try to align the course themes and motifs with the interests of the participants. And for that reason, I've asked, and you've all on your applications, if you submitted an application, explained where you're coming from, why you're into this, and it really will help us curate our content if you share your where you're coming from in the breakout groups we're about to launch. And Jennifer, you want to lead us into breakouts?
Great. Wonderful, Tony. Yep. We're going to put you into groups, and I think most groups have one of the team members of the team in the group. So you'll be able to have a conversation. Just as a prompt, we're thinking of how, because this is really, you're here to figure out whether you want to take this course, right? So the operative question there would be, how could this course benefit your life and your work? How could this course help us to co-create a flourishing future for the earth? So, really look back in yourself and think about, how could this make a difference for you and the larger whole? All right. So
how many, let me ask Jennifer, how many groups do we have?
I made 4 groups.
Okay, that's perfect.
Yep.
There's 4 of us, so we'll each, or there's 5 of us. You
Great.
want to make 5 groups?
I think I've got the 4 already.
Let's do that. Right on.
Okay. All right.
Wow. Thank you all. If the other groups were anywhere close to as engaging as ours, I'm really pleased. Thank you all. And I'd like to kind of bring back some of the disparate thoughts and comments and ideas that might have been percolating in the various groups to our whole group here. Jennifer, do you want to frame this for us?
Sure. Yeah, welcome back. Everybody can take a big breath. Sometimes it's a big transition to go from a smaller group back into the bigger group. I'd like to invite you to post in the chat, how could this course help your life, your work? How can it help us to bring about a flourishing future for our planet? So I invite you to and if you have questions about the course, feel free to put those in the chat box. And then just raise your hand to share. What would this do? And what questions do you have? Scott, how about you? I see you top left. I'm going to call right on you. Because
Um,
I know you're deep in this work already in some way.
Correct. So I've been working with a community on planetary health justice, and I keep asserting that Indigenous voices need to be part of the academic work we're doing around Earth governance. So I'm committed to bringing rights of nature perspectives into the next round of writing that we're working on. And when Jennifer, you mentioned this yesterday on our call, that there was this call today, I thought, good time for me to just listen in and see if this might be a good fit for the work I'm already committed to doing. Um, in our group, we had a really good chat around, personal issues like that.
Thank you, Scott, and certainly providing tools and strategies to local rights of nature groups is a core objective of our Earth Law Alliance, as well as this more narrow Earth Law practice team. Um, and you seem to have some sense of the challenges of community organizing. And without saying we have any solutions, we certainly have experiences working with and around these sort of obstacles.
Yeah, yeah, great. I just noticed Fred Adams, you're in Spain, right? Do I have that right?
Yes, yes, Jennifer, I am in Alicante, Spain. I'm just in the nature house of the wetland El Hondo, just at a few hundred meters from here. So yes, I am a very beautiful ecosystem here.
Great. What attracts you to this course, Fred?
Well, as I commented in the group, I am really in the middle of different interests here locally. It can be the local community, the ecologist, the scientist, the farmer, the artist also are inviting residents here. And I want to know more about laws, about rights, and be more aware of international laws also. I would be very interested in understanding if there is a scope, Earth scope of laws to protect nature and
Yeah.
Kat, perhaps you can note some of the achievements in Spain. There's many that Fred might be interested in.
Well, the biggest and most famous is the national law that was passed in 2022 for the rights of the Mar Menor Lagoon, which is the largest saltwater lagoon in Europe, and it is the first national rights of nature law in Europe, and it's really set an amazing precedent for the entire continent, the entire world, but really the entire continent, and it's inspiring really cool initiatives for the Venice Lagoon, for the Mediterranean Sea, for Lake Garda, the large lake in northern Italy. It's serving as an incredible legal model and also just inspiration. And what's really impressive is that it was contested, and the Constitutional Court of Spain upheld the law and declared it constitutional. So now it is doubly enforced. And there was just recently the first court case that called the Guardian Council to speak on behalf of violations for the lagoon. So we're the law was passed, it was doubled down on, which was a big one. And now we're getting to see it enforced and what that looks like in practice, which is amazing. And so much of this work is new. So getting the opportunity to see the laws be implemented is really exciting, because that's just finally starting to happen with all the laws that are now getting passed around the world.
Thank you, Kat. That is so impressive and just exciting to hear what's happening in different countries, and we can share all that information in a course like this. I see Susan Kuttner has put in the chat, hello, I hope to learn the language that would make me credible and convincing when trying to get local officials to authorize changes like removing asphalt parking lots or creating swales. Tony, anybody want to speak to that?
Yeah, and I put a quick note in the chat. And Susan, languaging is the province of lawyers. I practiced law for 30 years, doing consumer protection and other business-related work. And it comes down to precision, very specific words, or a comma, or a pause when one speaks could have that communicative value. That is also tools that we provide through our Earth Law education team for the toolkits we are all trying to build. You mentioned asphalt, and asphalt seems like this. It's a horrible, nearly impermeable surface that separates humans from the earth. We are no longer in direct contact. But guess what's always going to win as between the asphalt and the seed? The seed will find a way, and the seed will implant itself, and the seed will grow, and many seeds will grow, and the asphalt will go away. That's just the nature of asphalt and the nature of Earth's processes. And talking to officials, there's no magic. I mean, it's very much an individual thing, but we will certainly try to equip you with the tools for your toolbox. One that I'll note is sustainability. We'll talk a good deal about this. That term doesn't really have any meaning in my life, because when you say sustainable, maybe you mean forever. Or maybe you mean 100,000 years. Or maybe you mean 3 months, because that's what I got to put in my annual or quarterly corporate report so that my shareholders continue investing in me. So when we think about language and speaking credibly, it's all about precision and thoughtful consideration for what do you mean when you use a word. And if you know what you mean, you can communicate that with others.
That's great. Thank you, Tony. Wow. If you have a question or a comment, want to just raise your hand, go ahead. Gabriella, I'm going to call on you because I know you're in Italy, right? And I know you're involved in Earth Law. What interests you about this course?
Well, I wish I could be involved in Earth Law, but not yet. I'm interested in the in the bioregions, and I'm interested in the portion of the ecocide because my work is in conflict zone. So the violence on Earth is incommensurable and is terrible, and we of course, violence to people is also important, but without the land, without the water, without the trees, there's no way we can rebuild communities, and that is part of my interest because of what I'm seeing in conflict.
Yeah, thank you. Tony or anybody from the team want to respond to that? Or I think you said it all right there, Gabriella.
I do too. Tara, do you have thoughts? I know you do. That's why I'm calling on you.
I mean, yeah, we're gonna talk about all that in class. Like it has to be talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed that I've just sort of been picking up this thread that there's some people who are in transition here, and they're looking for like, what's going to be the next sort of focus of my life. And I heard that Elizabeth, when you came in, Elizabeth is a Montessori teacher. And so she's, she has a big cosmic view, I know, because of what she teaches. And now is thinking, can you say something more, Elizabeth, about, where do you see this in your life?
I'm really trying to get comfortable with all that I don't know. So
I've been drawn to um, both community and peace work. So, working with children and supporting their highest potential. And then I'm finding that I'm drawn to trying to find ways to work with adults too. And most recently with adolescents, we've done a lot of talking about earth jurisprudence and the students taking up different voices for the different aspects of the natural world. And it's just such an incredible experience with adolescents. And so I have a lot more questions than knowing where and just trying to weave pieces together. So I think this could be a very important piece.
Great. Thank you.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
Can I share two quotes, Jennifer, that I think
Sure.
what we're talking
Yeah.
about right now? We're talking about, on some level, we're talking about agency. What power do we have? What can we do? We wake up in the morning and sometimes like keeping our house clean seems like a challenge. So how are we going to change the world? And there's two quotes that I love because they go together because they have nothing to do with each other. I want to share them real quickly. One is from Thich Nhat Hanh, Vietnamese peace activist. And this is the big wide angle quote. And he said, for us to survive both as individuals and as a species, we need a revolution in consciousness. That sounds fabulous, but okay, great. Now what? And the other quote, forgive me, is from Gandalf. And he was the good wizard, and he was speaking about Saruman, the evil wizard. And Gandalf said, Saruman believes it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. I found it is the small things, the everyday deeds of ordinary people that keep the darkness at bay. Simple acts of kindness and love. So, however hard it is to feel like we have some power, some agency to affect change, we do, especially collectively, if we're all working toward the same thing. And I think that's a little bit about what we're going to be talking about a lot is, what lens do you have on your camera? The big wide angle lens with Thich Nhat Hanh, or what small little things can I do, can I model in my day today from Gandalf? So anyway, I just wanted to share this.
Thank you so much, Carrie. Oh my gosh. You don't want to look at my house right now.
So,
Or mine.
I know we're running low on time, but I would love to just add one little thing to what Carrie said because I think it's so important, which is that we can both use both lenses at different times, right? Like, and we have to use both lenses. We have to do the tiny small things and the modeling and the grassroots that goes from bottom up. And we also have to work on, bigger systems change, and they feed each other. And yeah, it's fantastic. I love that you quoted Gandalf.
thanks,
Also,
Tara.
that was written in the 1940s during World War II. So that's like if you don't know when those books were written, that's kind of like that was some unprecedented stuff going on there. And yeah.
Thanks, Tara and Carrie, for your inspirational words. I'm going to turn this over to Jennifer to kind of wrap things up. And I want to say before I do that over the years of learning to engage with Zoom, I've developed a sense of experiencing the collective. It's hard, of course, as we're so distant and we're just boxes on a screen. But I do feel in this group, as I have before, certainly in our courses, this sense of like-mindedness, but more importantly, like spiritedness. And I'm reading the nods and the facial expressions, and I'm feeling extraordinarily comfortable. I hope you all will share in the course because this is a spirit of like-mindedness and like-heartedness that we, through our Earth Law education team, are trying to spread.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Tony. So just a few practical things. We have an early bird discount through the end of this month. So we just want to encourage you, if you're at all interested, to submit an application. And I put the application link right in the chat, and it's also right on the website page. You can always go right back to that to get it. And then somebody from the team here will get back to you, will respond to your application. And, you know, if money is an issue, you can certainly apply for scholarship funds. You know, a team member can get back to you about that as well. And we're here to answer questions. Tony, about course content, he put his email address in the chat file. Practical things about, you know, applying, and just make sure you're signed up on the website when you do get to the point when you start. Oh, my cat's right here. Actually, it's not my cat, it's my friend's cat. And don't hesitate to reach out. We're here. You know, this is the bigger whole. This is what's encouraging all of these great things to happen. So it's going to be great. And yeah, do join in. So I'll just close. Is there anything else you want to say, Tony, before I do the final quote, or anybody else?
Let me open it to any other questions or comments. Your voices are sacred.
I want a presence that John in our smaller group asked for the syllabus. So John, you can reach out to Tony, info@earthlawpractice.com, or anybody else who wants that specific.
I got you, John. I got you, man.
Each week are also on the course page where you apply if you scroll all the way down.
One quick observation on that first day when we first meet, you are going to notice, and we're working really hard to make this happen, and it is happening, that we are going to have people from countries all over the world representing all sorts of cultures, languages, economic systems. And I think that's really going to bring a breadth and depth to the conversations that's going to enhance it all for everybody. So.
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah, thanks, Carrie. Okay, well, with that, I'll read our closing quote. Again, it's a Thomas Berry quote. Many of you are familiar with it. The historical mission of our times is to reinvent the human at the species level with critical reflection within the community of life systems in a time developmental context by means of story and shared dream experience. Thank you, everybody.
Jennifer.
Have a great rest of your day.
Please feel free to reach out, and thank you all for sharing your time.
Yeah.
Recordings are going to be available. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you all for your great work.
Thank you. You for yours.
Thank you.